Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to Being Here.
Yes.
I'm Ariel.
I'm Shia.
And today's episode is Where the Magic Happens.
That's right. And that's right here and right now.
Yes.
In this moment
When
of
you're
your life.
being here, magic happens.
When you're lost in worries about the future or complaints about the past.
Magic happens, but you're not
There to get it.
You're not here to experience it. You know, it really is like this coexisting state.
Right.
And sometimes you have access to it and sometimes you don't. And it's totally up to you.
You have access to it when you're here, not worrying about things that don't exist in the current moment.
Yes.
And what doesn't exist in the current moment is everything that isn't right in front of you.
Or happening through your earbuds or however you're listening to the show. Really today, if you listen, that's why you're tuning in, is to hear the show.
If
but let's
you
hear it.
Listen.
Yes.
And actually hear what's being said, not see whether you already know it, which most of us would like to already know everything, or whether you agree or disagree. But that's really quite irrelevant to listening. Listening is about getting interested in what somebody is saying and hearing it without filtering it through what you already believe to be true. And the easiest way to do that is through your eyes as well as your ears, wherever you are. If you engage with what's right in front of you, it'll pull you into the moment. If you're off worrying about politics, state of affairs of the planet, whether or not a Chinese rocket is going to land on you.
No, already landed.
I know. I knew that, but what the hell? It was in the news. And some people were worrying about it prior to its landing.
That's true. Or COVID, that's a convenient one.
Or your mother or your father.
Or see, now we sent you all off on all of your worries. Now you're looking or cataloging what you might be worried about. Just normal, that's normal. But you have control. Just bring your attention back to what is, and life becomes easy and simple and magic.
Yes.
Our approach is not problem solution oriented. It's far easier than that.
It's not about fixing or changing anything. It's about discovering the perfection of the moment, this moment of your life, not some future moment. Where you are right here, right now.
I just took a breath. It was glorious.
Thank you.
It's
for reminding me
really
that I could breathe.
Yeah, it's exquisite. Just take a breath. A breath is magical.
But you don't understand. I need to make money.
Yes.
We were once in Australia at a most gorgeous retreat center a friend of ours had built there. Western Australia. There were kangaroos running around outside, and they had the best strawberries in Australia. They were huge, but they tasted
tasty.
Like sweet. It was not like the stuff you get in the store, and it was awesome. And we were eating strawberries for breakfast, and this woman wanted to know about how to make money, and we said, "Have a strawberry," and she didn't.
She said, "No, I need to make more money." And Shai said,
"Have a strawberry."
She said, "No, you don't understand.
Taste these strawberries. They're extraordinary."
You don't understand. I am worried about money.
I know, but if you taste a strawberry, maybe you'll discover how good a strawberry can taste.
So Shai asked her if she liked strawberries, and she said yes, they were her favorite fruit, but she just kept disregarding everything that was in front of her. And his point was that if you slow down to here and you actually experience what's here, other options become available. You get tunnel vision, going somewhere, trying to produce something. And what was interesting was the person who owned the conference center had hired her and then offered her also our services gratis. And in this woman's mind, she was still poor. And I have a feeling, as much as her friend was trying to support her or help her, it would be a challenge to find other people to give her a reference for, because she would be so self-consumed. Options, possibilities don't happen, or they do, but you're not there to see them when you're worrying.
We're working on something that isn't right here, right now.
I'm ready to work on something, well, not work on something, but invite something that's right here, right now.
Well, I'm having a little hot chocolate right here, right now. It's getting cold, so I'm gonna have a sip.
Yeah, so you'll have your cool chocolate and we'll invite our first guest.
Yes. Okay.
Miss Judy, hi.
Hi, Judy.
Hi, this is Judy from New York City. Thank you for having me. I love this topic because as things are opening up here in New York City, I'm fully vaccinated, there's more options and more things to worry about. Or one of them is I haven't seen anyone in my family in way over a year, and because nobody lives in New York City except for me. And two of my brothers live in Pennsylvania. My niece lives in New Mexico. My other niece lives in Florida. And my niece and her husband are coming to visit. So now it's like, will I go? So my options are take the bus or rent a car. So I was like, should I stay? Should I go? Do I want to go? Is it safe? I can see myself spinning, but it's not just with that. There's more options, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
Well, you say there's more options, so there's more to worry about. It's your tendency to worry, which has always been there, just has a new topics to worry about, because we've been in your presence many times throughout the COVID pandemic. And you could be worried about that your job likes you too much and you're not sure you're doing enough, or there have been different topics. It's the same mill inside your head that just slots in new ideas. And I'll tell you something else, Judy. I have a feeling you have a habit of worrying about things that you don't have the answer for yet. Meaning, will I go? You just don't know yet. Should I?
Well, actually, the truth of the matter is, you know whether you're going to go or not right here, right now. But it's more convenient to occupy yourself with worries about whether you should or shouldn't.
That's accurate. I don't mean that in particular, but whether you go by bus or car is not super relevant. But worrying about it.
Where are you going to? Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania,
Where in Pennsylvania?
Wilkes-Barre,
Take
New
a car.
Scranton.
Take a car. Gives you options. Unless you don't want options, because options make you worry.
That's right.
I don't think I've not driven in 3 years. So
See, there's
Yeah.
something to
There's
worry
the
about.
worry.
Do you ride a bike?
I do.
Did you forget how to ride a bike from when you were a kid till now?
No,
No. And there were long gaps where you weren't riding a bike.
that is accurate.
So maybe you'll know how to drive too.
Yes.
You know, it's funny. It doesn't matter if we say take a bus, then you'll go, oh, but it doesn't go right to Scranton.
Right.
Drive a car, oh, but I haven't driven in 3 years. Your mind can spit out a concern for anything.
I was more concerned about a crowded bus with people like.
There you go, crowded bus.
It's funny. I really can worry about anything.
That's
You
right.
can.
It's like a hobby.
Right. Well, I'm not going to get too personal,
Yeah.
but you could always try dating.
Yeah.
That'll give you a whole bunch of other worries to worry about.
No, that's a whole new option now that COVID's ending. So yes.
Well, I do see it that when restrictions started happening, people started worrying about not being able to see people, or how are they going to get their groceries, or if I go out, will I get sick? So now things are reopening after we've all become accustomed to a more solitary or at-home lifestyle. And then the reopening is a little confronting, unless you step into it like it's your idea.
That's a novel idea.
Yeah, because when you're talking about, oh, my niece is going, shall I go?
Then it's your niece that's making you go.
Or making you choose, rather than you looking to see, I really want to be with them. What's the best way for me? Or, you know what? I'm not ready yet. I'm just going to say straight out, I don't want to go.
That's awesome. Okay. I sometimes feel like I should be, like, I really don't feel like I'm ready to go somewhere, stay in a hotel. And I don't feel like, I feel like I'm letting them down if I don't go. But at this point, I really don't feel comfortable doing it.
Well, what do you want to do?
At this point, I'm not really sure. I mean, I feel like there's.
Well, no. You see, I'm asking you to take a look and see what you want, and then all the rest are details. See, I'm not going anywhere at this point today, but if I wanted to go somewhere, I could go later. What do you want is the question, rather than what are your concerns about how to have it happen? See, you don't just look and see what you want. You look at all your reasons why you shouldn't, and you drop you out in that equation.
There's one thing, Judy, I am really a proponent of, or have been a proponent of masks and of safety and taking care of yourself. But I'm not certain waiting till you're comfortable to do things is the most expansive option. What I mean by that is, I don't know if you'll ever be comfortable.
You don't know how life is going to show up in the next moment. So worrying about it, being concerned about how you're going to make things happen, if that determines how you go about your life, then you sit home a lot.
I mean, if you're not drawn to see them, if you don't want to see them, that's a whole different thing than saying I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable is a good shield to hide behind.
Right. I'm not comfortable. Well, but nothing's going on that you should be uncomfortable about.
In
In
that's
this
accurate.
moment, you don't have to get on a bus or get in the car or go to Pennsylvania.
See, I noticed it for me, Judy, my forward-thinking mind got activated, and I'll tell you what I mean. By the time this airs, Shai and I will have gone on vacation because we're recording it in advance, but we haven't yet. So it'll be the first time in about 14 or 15 months that we've gotten on an airplane and gone anywhere. And the last trip we made, we flew out to Oregon, realized the pandemic was coming like a tsunami. And the same day we turned around and flew back home and set in motion doing everything virtually. So it's been a while. Now it's a few weeks before we leave, but I find myself walking down my hallway going, what clothes should I bring? Or what happens on the plane if I want a drink of water? Will it be safe to take off my mask? Like, I'm worried about what I will drink or eat on the airplane weeks before I go. And I then keep re-engaging with my eyes, re-engaging with my ears, recognizing the answer will be obvious when I get there. I don't need to plan for it in advance. And certainly if I go 5 hours without eating, it's not going to hurt me.
That's accurate. I had the experience of I hadn't been on the subway in way over a year, and I was going out to someone's house, and
You actually went to someone's house? Oh
I
my
actually went to
God.
someone's house and helped them move. It was really fun.
Oh my God. Weren't you
yeah.
worried?
I actually wasn't. I was worried about getting on the subway, and when I got on it, it was fine. It was.
But it was similar about you driving
Yeah.
a car, similar as to staying
Yes.
at a hotel.
It's all the same stuff.
Right.
Worry is a fantasy about a possible future that probably won't come about because your mind works on the worst possible scenarios so you can survive. It doesn't tease out great events. It teases out the problems
That
to
is
worry
accurate.
about. So that voice you listen to isn't you. It doesn't have your best interests at heart, even though it says it does. It'll keep you from having a good time.
That is
For
accurate.
fear you'd want to have good times again. And
Right.
what would you do if you didn't give your independence over to that voice?
I don't know.
The other thing, Judy, is while you're in your thoughts calculating whether or not you should go or how to let them down easily if you don't go, or how you'll deal with a hotel if you do go, while you're calculating that in your thoughts, you're not here.
You've lost your life in those moments.
Which is not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just an isness.
Yeah, it's, people get old and they say, where did the time go? Well, they were busy thinking about what wasn't and what didn't happen. You can worry about anything. Try pink elephants.
I see a cute one.
Does it have orange polka dots on it?
No, it had just like a little crown on the head. People riding on it.
Oh.
Wow.
No, this is awesome. Thank you.
And I'll tell you something, Judy, you're in a very fortunate time frame. You've had a pretty static, controlled environment for a period of time. And now with options, you get to see how your mind works. And if you don't resist how your mind works and you don't believe that those thoughts are you, if it says, oh, I'm worried about getting on a bus, but you notice that the thought went through, oh, I'm worried about getting on a bus. It's going to be a very exciting adventure during this time where things are opening up.
And Judy, you could just take a chance and maybe you'll discover that voice you listen to isn't you.
That would be awesome.
Excellent. Hey, thanks for being our guest today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It's that time.
The time for what?
Our listener feedback spotlight.
What is that?
Well, I'm so proud of the people who listen to this show. And now we get to hear from one or more of them about what's happening in their lives with transformation by listening to this podcast and
what they've discovered about life, what they've discovered about their lives, that they are experiencing fun in their lives.
And that they want to share it with you.
Yeah.
I'm Rainer von Rosengarten in Germany, and I'm very happy about my life right now. I had no idea how magic life can be, and I found a community where I got all the information to feel really great, and my life has better. It's in my daily life, it's in my relationship with my wife, it's in my work, it's everywhere. And I had no idea that this is possible, that life can be magic without thinking or doing anything.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
Our Living Made Easy seminars, one happening this Saturday, one happening next Monday, and you are invited to either of those or any of the upcoming ones. You can find them on our website.
transformationmadeeasy.com.
And for a deeper dip in transformation, our weekend seminars are such a blessing. It is so amazing to step into the moment with the people who attend the seminars, because they truly listen to you. And what's born is our natural genius, and it's just such a treat. The next one we have is Magical Relationships, and that's June 26th and 27th. And Creativity and Intuition is a little later in the summer, August 7th and 8th, but you can put it in your calendars, and you can certainly register for either or both. Again, transformationmadeeasy.com. All right, let's have our next guest, shall we?
Yes, shall we?
Okay, Micah.
Hi, Ariel. Hi, Shaya.
Hi.
Micah speaking, and I'm calling in from Düsseldorf, zooming in from Düsseldorf.
Zoom, welcome.
Yes. So great to hear you both, to see you both.
Well, thank you. Great to be with you.
It's nice to see you looking so alive. Didn't you have a health issue a while back?
Yeah, I felt, I would say, over a year and a half, not so good. And the half last year, I can see how I recover and feel very well in myself. I just
That's great.
went yesterday. I feel well in my body.
Oh,
Good.
that's so nice.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I found it really special that when you spoke with Judy, I can see how often I also have a shadowing mind telling me to worry and about the future, COVID, job, whatever health issues. And today I was sitting outside, and from one moment to another, there was a little green worm on my clothes and just moving. So I really enjoyed the worm for some minutes, and how he reacted and how he moved and how he experienced my trouser, the world. So I was just with the worm, not thinking and having any, I was not afraid, or I was not judging myself, nothing at all, just with this small green worm.
Was it like one of those little inchworms that like curls up in the middle and then straightens out, curls up in the middle?
Exactly. And then at one point, I put my hand on the trouser on my leg, and I tried to move him, and he was looking and putting himself up and experiencing the world. It was really crazy. And I thought, I felt like a child. I really like a child experiencing and playing with the worm. It was really funny.
Good for you.
That's
Congratulations.
so sweet.
Really.
There you go.
It's nice that you can slow down enough to be with what's going on in your life rather than try to get somewhere that's better or more important.
Mhm.
It doesn't exist.
And I have so often these moments. I know it, and I'm self-employed, and I'm in a project at the moment, and next week will be my final week in this project, and I'm planning to take 6 to 8 weeks off and just enjoy the garden and life and my soon-to-be husband. And but there are moments where I'm really relaxed about it, but I know myself, there will be a point when I say, no, you have to find a job, you have to find a project. And I can see how I'm starting already to check with myself. Like,
So I have a question. Would it be all right, Micah, if a job found you?
oh yeah, yeah.
You know, you're worrying about how it turns out. Well, hasn't every job you've gotten found you? You know, somebody knows
You're
somebody.
nodding your head, but people can't. see it.
Yes, yes, yes. That's for sure. Every time when it was the perfect time, the perfect job came. Whatever
Now,
it was.
other question is, didn't you worry before the perfect job showed up that it wouldn't show up?
Yes, yes, I did.
Well, maybe you could cut that part out and just enjoy yourself.
And you can recognize that your mind thinks it's an integral part to getting the job, but as it starts to happen, you can just let it fade away. If you don't resist the tendency to worry, but notice that you have it without judging it, it's almost as if your vision comes out and you can see the little inchworms and you can see the weather and you can see
The flowers that blossom around you.
Yeah.
And you know, what's really interesting, I've noticed this, every day is different, you know, and early spring has already happened here. And now we're almost moving towards summer. And you can't have the flowers of early spring anymore.
so if you
But-
weren't here to experience them, you missed them.
That's right. You know, we have a new great granddaughter. Her name is Violet. And violet is a type of flower that grows wild in the woods around here. And that season of violets blooming is just about over now.
Yeah.
And there was a while they were everywhere. You know, life provides you with all sorts of interesting things if you're here.
I had an interesting experience the other day. About once a week, Shai and I have been going for a walk with our friend Lenore. She drives out here. We socially distance walk with masks. And now, since we're all vaccinated and it's safe, we can walk closer without our masks. Only this week, our schedules didn't connect. So I called her and she was on my headset and I took her on a walk with me, and I walked down by the Delaware River and I walked over to a canal that's been there since like the 1920s. It used to be a place.
I think it's there earlier in
Early
the 1800s. They used to use it to bring coal and iron down from Pennsylvania to New York City.
So they'd be barges pulled by
Mules.
And so I like going down there and seeing the fish and seeing the herons feed and watching the little ducks. And I got down there and it was totally dry, no water in it. And I was like, oh my gosh, Lenore, there's no water here. I wonder what happened. And then I said to her, somebody will have the answer. And less than 5 minutes later, this couple came riding up on bicycle. And I said, do you know what happened to the canal? And they said, yes. And they told me it had been damaged in the winter and that it would take about a year before it was repaired. And then they rode off. It's like your job. They rode up from behind me. I didn't see them coming. Your job is coming. You can either worry about it or you can actually
It'll be
have
here in
time
about
off.
6 weeks. So relax.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. You just answer this question for yourself. do you want to have a job in 6 weeks or 8 weeks, or do you want to re-engage in finding a job in 6 to 8 weeks? Because there's a big difference. If you expect to have a job in 6 to 8 weeks, you may need to start looking in 4 weeks. If you're willing to give yourself that 6 to 8 weeks and recognize your job after that may be finding a job and there'll be a lag time, if you're honest with yourself either way, this framework where you're taking time off will actually be set up to win rather than a niggling, I should be looking, I should be looking, I should be looking.
Yeah.
But it just requires telling yourself the truth.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
You said something, you said my soon-to-be husband. Do you guys have a date set?
We had a date set. We had planned to marry in on the 27th of August with a big party and a lot of friends, also from the community, people coming over. But we canceled everything. And at the moment, the plan is, so my parents, we have the situation that we are in the lockdown in Germany at the moment, and my parents got their first vaccination shots, and my dad will get the second one this month, and my mom beginning of June, and then they are both vaccinated. So we will then celebrate small, perhaps with the 4 of us or 6 to 8 people, very small, outside, to have it safe for everyone. And that will be the marriage for this year. And then hopefully next year we will celebrate then with a lot of our friends, our lives. That's
great. We did that, you know, we when we got married on the West Coast of the United States where Ariel's parents lived. And then when we came back to New York where we lived, we had a party for all our friends.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sweet because you two are launching another phase of your life, and you don't need all of us there to commemorate it. You'll commemorate it at a time that works for you and works for everyone, and you know that your folks get to be there. How sweet is that?
Yeah, they can feel it. And I remember we talked about it. So I talked with you, Erwin Shire, about it. And at that point of my life, I was not sure how it will go, how it will happen. But now it feels really, really good for me and also for my parents. So yeah, it's good.
But you know, if we go back now to you, and this job is finishing up and the next job is coming, you know, you couldn't plan your wedding until you had all the facts, like until things developed in a way that you knew what really is the appropriate action. And in a certain way, it's similar for your jobs. There's something about, I want to go back to the very beginning of what you said, when you said I'm self-employed. Somehow, Micah, whilst it's technically true, I find it to be a limiting statement rather than...
Well, you are self-employed, seems like you're a shoemaker or something like that, who works by themselves, but you work for large corporations. So you're not really self-employed. You're employed by them for your services, for the skill sets that you have.
Just for fun, try this on as your summer hat. I have a company that is successful enough that I don't have to work every day. And my company did so well this spring that it's giving me 4 to 6 weeks off before I'm needed to go back into the workforce.
Yeah, and it's true.
Yes, but you know something, I've known you for a number of years now, And I remember not the specifics, but other circumstances similar to this where you worried about work and work showed up. So somehow you have worrying about getting work connected with getting work.
Well, it's similar to worrying about whether or not Stefan and she would get married.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're all addicted to worry. Those are just a couple of your ones. You were listening to Judy. Judy's worried about driving a car or
Taking a bus.
taking a bus or being in a hotel, or and earlier she was worried about whether or not her Yankees would win. So it's like we are machines that can slot in new things, or we can step into the moment and experience the magic. And by the way, some people who are listening to this, Mike, are now worried about worrying, or worried that they will miss the magic. Well, you will miss the magic when you miss it. And the moment you notice you're missing it,
You're back.
Yeah.
But coming back to what I said earlier, I really like the way you look right now. So
we're happy you've regained your health.
That's right.
Vibrancy.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks for being with us today.
Yes,
Micah.
thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, you're so welcome, dear.
Okay. Hey, if you want to be a guest or submit a listener spotlight, like what you heard in the middle of the show, you can go to transformationmadeeasy.com/being here and find out how. Next week's episode, this will be a good one for you, Micah, too. You'll probably enjoy it. Listening.
You can't have a relationship without it.
So that's it for today, but we'll be back next week.
So come on back and don't miss being here.